Yeah, hi Ritesh, you can take it up. You can take a host also.
Okay. Yeah, sure, Mash. Morning, everyone. We'll wait for 1 or 2 more minutes. Until then, we'll get started. Anyone who is joining today for the very first time, or you have joined yesterday only, anyone from this group of 16, 17 people who have joined? Okay. It seems that you might have joined from the first session. Okay. Um, I assume that whatever we are going
You start
through.
recording as well when you start the actual class. Huh? Sorry.
Okay, okay.
So what is that flow that we are going to follow?
Okay. Anyone who has any questions, anyone who has any doubts with respect to what we discussed until now, or who is yet to understand what and why the requirement of a cloud is from a data analyst point of view, if you still have any other questions, please feel free to ask. Um, okay, by the time, let me start sharing my screen. Okay. For time being, we'll get started with today's session. Now, once we log into the, yeah, go ahead. Someone had a question, right?
I,
Hey,
I
Shakil, yeah.
have doubt regarding pipeline. Pipeline helps us to connect between source data set to destination data set. If we
Mm-hmm.
have applied a logic, some logic, it
Mm-hmm.
will helps us to move whatever the logic we have applied source
In
to.
between, yeah.
That's it. No.
That logic is applied in activities, right? Activity is not just copy. There are many other activities where you can apply your logic, where you can apply your thinking, what you want, how the data changes you want, and then you can load it to the destination. Yes, even that possibility is there.
Okay, Ritesh.
Okay, now again, once we log into the Azure portal, um, now in today's session, we will also go through how do you activate this Azure portal if time persists at the end. But I mean, as I've said, you need to have a credit card. So I want one of you to go back and share your screen, and then we can see how you can activate this. Now, the same process which we would follow for a few days is once you log into the Azure portal, we need to start with the subscription, right? We already have a subscription activated. So let me click on subscription, open this, right? So once you open this, scroll down to the resource group. This is our resource group, which we created yesterday. Under that resource group, we might have some resources. I'm just going to see where is that ADF, right? Yesterday I've created one ADF here. Now I've deleted that resource. I've deleted that specific ADF, the Azure Data Factory, which we have created yesterday, because I already have one more resource group under which there is one more ADF, which is still working, right? Which is still available. This one, the KSR ADF practice. Now, the reason why I've deleted that yesterday's ADF and why am I using a different ADF is, see, whatever resources you have created in one resource group, if you want to move it to some other resource group, is there a possibility, right? This is our resource group, KSR test RG, which is our resource. Now, if I go back to the list of all resource group, June Fabric 2025 RG was our resource group, ideal resource group, which we have created yesterday. So if there is a possibility that you have created a group and you have created some resources or services in that specific group, is it a possible condition that we can move that specific resource from one RG to different RG? Let's try, right? Our the practice ADF is in one different resource group. I want to move it to the June Fabric 25 RG. So once you click on that specific resource in the overview tab in the resource group, right, you will get this essentials. Since for some of you, it would be minimized. Please don't get confused. You can maximize it. Here you will get all the options. Right. So if I want to move this, there is this option called as move. In the resource group, the name resource group itself, there is this option called as move. Let me click on move. Target resource group cannot be the same. Okay, from this resource group, I want to move to which resource group? To this RG. Right, so let me click on next. We have selected these resources, parent resources are related to child resources, they need to be moved together. Now, why this is throwing an error is, inside this resource group or inside this RG, what we are trying to move, I mean, this particular ADF, that ADF is dependent on some other services. This ADF, this practice ADF, which I've created, or this database, either we are in the database, it seems. Okay, let me go to the ADF option then. This is our ADF. Let me try this. This should be June. Right, see, it is not giving me any error. I was first selecting that SQL database because SQL database cannot be easily moved. It has to move along with the server. Now, what is server and
You're now
database?
connected to Boatstone.
Any questions? Okay. Checking whether other resources can be moved. This might take few seconds or few minutes. Okay, let's see. It is in validating state. Once it validates, let's see how we can proceed further. Now, by the time, I mean, let me open the Fabric as well. So Fabric is one single entity, right? It is all the resources are available in one single entity. So, I mean, what you can do is, if you create any specific resource in a particular workspace, right? So how do you create any specific components in Fabric? The first part is you need to create a workspace. Now, how a workspace is created? Once you activate your Power BI portals, click on new workspace. Right, it will give you an option for creating a new workspace. Give a specific name to that workspace. If you go to this advanced option, here you will get premium, pro, or a trial. Now, pro and premium are with respect to Power BI, whereas trial goes with Fabric. Right, whatever Fabric we will be using, Fabric components we will be using, you need to select with this trial for Fabric resources to be created. Right, so once you click on trial, once you mention the, let me start that as well, June Fabric 2025. Right, so the name is available, and let me start with trial. Let me click on apply. So it will create a workspace. For Fabric workspace, you will get both icons. One is Fabric content, which is this premium icon. Along with that, you will get this trial workspace, which is this kind of different icon is available. Right, so here you have full flexibility. Once you create this workspace, you have this option called as new item. And if you click on it, you will get list of all the options which are available, which you can create inside this specific workspace. Right, so mostly these are all categorized into certain different segments, right? This is for prepared data, right? Prepared data in the sense, I mean, whatever you want to create, whatever you want to integrate, right? Transformations, integrations, all that can be done under this prepared data. And these many options are available inside this prepared data. Analyze and train it, right? How do you train a data? More a kind of data scientist related rules. Track data, that means you want to track or monitor some information. So all these options are classified into different segments here. Different options are available. Right. So you have that flexibility. Once you click on data pipeline, it will automatically create a pipeline for you, the ADF option. Right. So maybe if I again go back to the new item and if I want to create some storage services, right? So if you want to create some storage services, you need to go and click on this lake house. So if you click on this lake house, it will create a storage service for you. So options are available, but as I've said, everything is under one umbrella. You have zero flexibility that you can move from one different environment to different. Now here you can move from one workspace to different workspace. How is it possible? Let me go to a different workspace. Let me open a workspace, this March batch workspace. And I have a data flow or I have a pipeline here, this pipeline. Now, let me see if there is a possibility that I can move this pipeline, right? There is this option, move to. Now, if I click on this move to, it is giving me an option called as new folder. That means within that workspace only, there is an option called as new folder. Now, what I want to do is I want to move this specific pipeline from one workspace to a different workspace. Let me cancel this again. Let me see if there are any other options. See, there is this option called as save as. So once you click on that save as, let's see if I'm getting a list of all other workspaces where I can save this particular pipeline. Right? So once you get that save as, you will get list of all the workspaces which you want or where you want to store that specific pipeline. So there is a possibility that you can move from one different workspace to different another workspace in Fabric. But as I've said, it will create a copy of it. It will try to create a copy of it. That possibility is there. So let us again go back to the Azure portal. See, nothing, it has thrown an error. Validation is succeeded. That means we can move this ADF from one resource group to different resource group. Let me click on next. So it will review all the details and you have to click on this checkbox that I understand whatever resources I want to move. It will be updated to new resource ID. That should be fine, right? So let me click on move. So it will start moving your specific resource or a service which you have created in one RG, one resource group to a different resource group, right? So movement of resources is possible from one resource group to different resource. This is one condition. Now, if I go back slightly, now what I want is, I only have one subscription. If there are two subscriptions, I can move a complete different resource group. Let's suppose I want to move this resource group to a different subscription. Yes, you can completely move it. See, in the overview option of this resource group, if you see the above options, there is this option called as move. So if you want to move all the services from one RG to different RG, yes, we have seen, right? We have moved one ADF from one RG to different RG, which is still in progress. You have option to move from one subscription to different subscription as well. You have that flexibility. So if I would have had two different subscriptions, I can move whatever services or resources I've created in one RG completely in one single move to a different subscription. So in Azure, you have full flexibility that if you want to move some resources, resource group also, you can move from one subscription to different subscription, or maybe set of resources from one RG to different RG. That flexibility is available. Now there is one more option, move to another region. Now, yesterday we have seen, right, while creating any specific service, it will always ask you that which region would you like to create that resource or a service. So is there a possibility that I can move from one location to different location? Let's try, right? We can try that. Now, prior to that, what I will do is until then this ADF is getting moved from one RG to different RG, Let's start with one more service, which is called as storage service. So let me mention that as well. Right. Yesterday, we started with service 1. Let me start with service 2. The second service which we are going to start with. Now, we have just started with ADF. We haven't discussed all in depth of ADF, right? ADF is the most important service which we will be discussing throughout our sessions. Now, service 2 is our storage service. Now, what is storage service? Storage service is also called as ADLS. Right? Technically, it is called as ADLS. Now, what is ADLS? Azure Data Lake Services. ADLS is nothing but Azure Data Lake Services. Now, what is this data lake? How different they are? If I go back, let me go to the Home tab. Right? So we will follow that same process, subscription. Once inside that subscription, go to the resource group, under which resource group you want to create, right? So let me scroll down. We have this resource group. We have this resource group here, right? So that ADF is yet to migrate. You can see this icon coming, moving resources. So let me start creating a different resource, which is our storage service. Now, right, I've clicked on that specific resource group. I want to create a new service. So let me see if I can search for storage account. It is called a storage account or storage service. See this second option. Now, you try to use the same approach on day-to-day basis. Once you get a good exposure to what is the hierarchy, then you can directly search in the global search option, right? You have this option called as storage. So if you search this way, this storage account and this storage account is one and the same. So let me first try creating the storage account. Storage account is nothing but our blob or your ADLS. Now, there are many different names for it. Subscription resource group. Okay, what should be the name of storage account? So let me start creating June Fabric. See, there is a difference here. If I mention anything in capital, it will not take. You have to mention everything in small for a storage account, right? So June Fabric 2025 storage account. See, I've mentioned SA in capital. The names must be small and between 3 to 24 characters only. I mean, ours is less than 24, but there is a capital letter, right? So I'll go with small. So it will give you a green tick whether it is available or not. That seems, I mean, there is no error, right? So it seems it is available. Now, region, right? I'll go with that same region, South India. Primary service, what you want to use. So there are options. This is optional. This is not compulsory. You cannot see any red icon here. So let me go with, I'll not select anything. Performance, I'll go with standard performance, because if you go with premium, it will be costly. Redundancy, I'll go with local redundant storage because I don't want any geo redundant. Now, what is this redundancy is? If you go with geo redundant storage, intermediate options with failover capabilities in secondary regions, that means if one of the region is going down, this will automatically adjust its redundant storage. I mean, I don't want that much flexibility. I'll go with very least option because I want to utilize the service not for primary or not for understanding, just to make sure that how the storage account works. I mean, we are not using any premium capabilities here, right? So I'll go with local redundant storage. Let me click on next. So here in the next option, you will get some default options, right? Let that default options be as it is. Let's let that default options be as it is. Now below, there is one more option called as access tier. So what is this access tier, right? This access tier is also one important component which we have to discuss. And this is asked with respect to interviews as well. So what is the exact idea behind this storage service? I mean, the idea behind storage service is to dump some data, any kind of data. It might be an Excel file, it might be a text file, it might be some XML file, it might be some CSV file, it might be an image, audio, video, anything can be dumped to the storage account or a storage service. So that is how flexible the storage service is. So whatever you want to dump, maybe you will be accessing that resources, right? It is not that you just dump the data to it. You need to access that data as well as and when required. So how are you accessing that data? Rather, how frequently are you accessing that data? That is called as access tier. So if you're accessing data very frequently, it is called as hot layer. Let me go back to that same. If I scroll down, you will get an option, right? Optimized for a frequently accessed data on everyday usage scenarios. So if it is hot access tier, that means whatever data is available inside the storage account, you are accessing it frequently on every data basis, every day basis. Now there is other two options, cool and cold. What is cool? You are access whatever data you have dumped, you are not accessing frequently. You are accessing infrequently, right? But it is used for backup scenarios. Now, backup means some data backup, right? Storage account, let's suppose if you're taking an example of laptop, right? Your desktop or laptop, your device. For every driver, there is a backup assigned, right? If by chance you delete some driver also, it will get that backup. With that backup, it will get that information. So this backup is available in every type of or every access tier of storage account. But in case of cool or cold, there is a difference. Cold means you are rarely accessing that resource. Rarely, maybe once a month or twice a month. Whereas cool is you are accessing it, but you're not accessing it frequently, once a week, right? Once a week or once in 2 weeks. So that is cool. Hot is everyday basis. Cool is once a week, maybe twice, I mean, once in 2 weeks. Or cold is totally, I mean, you're not even accessing it. Rarely you are accessing it as and when there is a requirement. So you need to select which access tier is correct for us. I'll go with hot only. Default is hot because I want to access the services or I want to access the components which are dumped inside the storage account on a frequent basis. May not be every day, but I want to access it very frequently. Except weekends, I'll be accessing it from Monday to Friday. So I'll go with hot access tier. Let me go to the next option. All the networks, okay. Default option should be there. Let me go to next. Now here in the data protection, you have some more options. Now what all these options are? Enable soft delete. Now what is soft delete? Soft delete means if anything which you have dumped inside the storage account and you are trying to delete that, it will be deleted instantly, but it will be available in the backup option, right? So you can restore it. The best example is nowadays, every mobile, if you're using your gallery, right, your photos gallery, you try to delete a photo. That photo, even if you have deleted, it will be available inside a recycle option. So you can restore that photo within 30 days. Even for a storage account, whatever you want to delete, if you have deleted it mistaken, I want to restore it. That restore option is enabled if you use this enable soft delete. Now, what is this soft delete? This means this will delete everything. See, soft delete enables you to recover blobs that will be previously marked as deletion, including blobs that were overwritten. Number of days it should retain is, if a file is getting deleted from the storage account, it should retain that file for 7 days. After that, it should be permanently deleted. So go with the default option. Let me go to next. I'll go with this same option only. Next. So it will review whatever information we have selected, right? So there is an error, validation failed, view error details. Now, where is an error? I have to go back and see. Let me click on this. Cannot deploy resource. Okay, I guess there is one resource which is already moving. I'm not sure why is it taking so much time. Let me go back to previous. Next, let me see. I guess we cannot create any new resource if there is some other resource which is moving in background inside that same resource group. So let me go back and select a different resource group. I'll go with this. Right, so I'll go with this local redundant storage, hot access tier. That should be fine. Next, next, next. Right, so it is not giving me an error because I'm trying to use a different resource group. Let me create this. So once it is created, I'll let you know how different the storage account is. Right, so the storage account has many other sub storages. There are many other sub storages. And the most important part is whenever you're working on Azure, you should always have some patience. Right? It's a cloud. It will not behave as expected every time. It might behave or it might misbehave, right? It might work differently. So you have to have some patience while working on it. For you, it may not be as same as what I'm doing. 90-95% will be same. 5% here and there, small changes will be there. Right, your deployment is complete. Let me go to resource. So this is my resource, storage account. Now, inside this storage account, if you scroll down, I mean, you will get overview tab. In the overview tab, you have options, right? If you want to move from one RG to different RG, there is this location option as well. Now, what I would do is, let me scroll down. You have access control option also. So if you want to give access, if you want to share this specific service, which is common for all the resources or services which you have created in Azure, right? So you can access or you can give an access to that particular resource or service if you want to share that. Now, there is this option called as data storage. Ideally, storage account is for storing some data. So if you scroll down to this data storage, you minimize or maximize. I mean, it should be maximized default, but if it is minimized, you can expand this. So you have this data storage. There are 4 different types of storages which are available inside this storage account. 4 different types of storages. So let me mention each and every information. We have seen access tier, right? For storage account, we have seen access tier. Hot is for frequent access. Now, I'll give some options here. Frequent access means every day. Cool is infrequent. It is not frequent, but still you will be accessing it. Maybe once a week or 2 weeks. And the other one is cold. Cold means rarely you are accessing. That means once a month or a quarter. Right, so this is an option. This is for access tier. Now there is this delete mechanism. Now what is delete mechanism? This is called as backup. So whatever files you are dumping to the storage account, soft delete, right? So what is soft delete? Whatever you are deleting from this specific storage account, it will not be permanently deleted. If it's soft delete is enabled, it will stay minimum 7 days, which is default. I mean, you can increase if you want it for 30 days. If you want it for 30 days, you can increase it to 30 days, right? We had that option while creation. So default is 7 days. There is one more option called as hard delete. Now, hard delete is not mentioned there. If you uncheck that soft delete, it will be default hard delete. What is hard delete? Delete immediately. Whatever you are deleting, it will be immediately deleted. It will be immediately deleted. So every time whenever you create a storage account, it is not recommended to uncheck this soft delete. Go with default 7 days soft delete option. Whatever file you have deleted, you can recover it within 7 days. That backup mechanism. Hard delete means if you unselect that soft delete, everything will be deleted instantly, which is not recommended. right? So let me scroll down, and what all data storage options are available in storage account. So there are 4 different options. One is container, one is queue storage, one is table storage, right? So if I go back, we have container, we have queue, we have table, and we have file share. The last one is file share. Even though they have arranged in different manner, I have mentioned it in the correct manner. Which storages we frequently use? Table should come second, then queue, and then file share. Now, out of 4 different storages which are available in storage account, most frequently used storage account or most frequently used storage services, your container. 90% of the time, or 95 rather, I'll keep it to 95. 95% of the time people go with this container option. Now, what is table storage? The information will be stored like SQL tables. Right? In SQL, we try to create a table, right? Rows, columns. Same way a table structure is created. If you have that table structure, you can store that table structure inside a table storage. Now, what is queue storage? What is queue storage, right? Queue means there is a concept, FIFO. What is FIFO? First in, first out. But this is not FIFO, this is FILO. What is FILO? FILO is first in, last out. That means a queue will be created. A kind of queue will be created. Now, what is that queue? What is that specific queue? Right? So these different terminologies, it might be new for you. The only thing is you need to understand. Most of the times people go with that container option. Container can take any kind of information. It can dump any information, whereas the other 3 has to follow certain rules. Let's suppose this is a queue. So if a person is entering this queue, then second person will enter here. So this first person will go here sometimes, second will be here, third will be here, fourth will be here, right? So this is how the queue will happen, right? First person will go inside and the last person will come outside, or the start of that. So this is how queue will work. So whenever you are entering a queue, if a person wants to exit this queue, if a queue is closed at the other end, he will exit from the same place where he has entered, right? So if a data is getting entered inside a queue, first article which was entered or first component which you have dumped inside this queue will go last outside, because first in, last out. Whichever component is coming last, it will go first, and whichever component is coming first, it will go last. This is called as a queue storage. So a queue storage follows this approach. First in, last out. It is not first in, first out. For some reasons, if it can be first in, first out, but I don't think queue will be using that option. Most of the times people will, or queue will go with first in, last out. I mean, I've shown you, right, how a queue works. If suppose this is a queue, you enter a queue, one who is entering first, they will exit last. One who is entering last, they will exit first, because a queue is opened at one side or one end only. If it is opened at both the ends, it is FIFO, first in, first out, right? If this queue is opened this side also, first person who have entered will also exit first, right? So first in, first out. So this is more a kind of queue storage. Now, what is file share? What is file share? Let me click on file share. See, file share, let me click on file share. It will create a new file share. See, there are options here, hot, cold, and transaction optimized. File share means you can dump data to this file, but only if you want to share this file frequently. You are frequently sharing a particular file, you can use this file share option. I mean, there is no difference. if I again go back, I'll cancel this. I'll go to the container. Container is the most flexible part. It is most flexible part. Now, default, whenever you go to a container, a default container will be created. Container means like you have a bucket. You have some bucket. In that bucket, or you have some container. Inside that container, you dump anything. It will take that information, right? Not information also. In your surrounding, if you have any drum or a container, you dump anything inside the drum or a container, right? Anything it can take it. Similarly, in storage account also, if it's a container, it can take any kind of data. It is most flexible data storage option which is available inside the storage account. Now, whenever you go to a container, default a log container will be created. Log means whatever changes you have made, everything will be captured inside this log. This is default. You cannot touch this. I mean, if you touch also, it is of no use. So let me start creating a new container. As I've said, it is 95% of the times people go with this storage type in the storage account, container. So let me give it a name, right? Test container. Again, the name should be only in lowercase. Let me change, right? Selected. The access level is set to private or anonymous. Okay. Advanced. Okay. I mean, I don't require all these options. Let me create a container. Container is nothing but a folder. It's just a folder. So inside this container, if you click on that, you can add any kind of data to this. Now, what is any kind of data? Let me dump some data from my local system. Let me give me a few seconds. I will check which file we can dump it here. Okay. Okay. So how do you dump any information inside this container or folder is, you need to click on this upload option. Once you are into this container, once you create that, you need to click on this upload option. Browse for files. So you can browse it from your local system, whatever file you want to dump. See, you can dump a folder, you can dump a Word file, you can dump a PDF file, you can dump a Excel file, you can dump a zip folder, you can dump an image, you can dump a PPT. Everything which is available in your local system can be dumped to this container, which is not available in table, queue, or the other storage. Container is the most flexible storage option. It can take video as well. Right? So anything which is available in your system can be dumped to this container. It will not question mark you that what is this file. You can dump any kind of data. So let me dump some information. We have this electronic store. Let me click on open. Right, so it will give you an option, upload. Let me upload this. Right, this file is available. Hot access tier and size is 3.17. Now this container is also called as blob storage. This container is also called as blob storage. What is blob storage? Blob means binary large object. Long form. Binary large object. Don't think much on it. What is binary large object? It can take any kind of data. That is the most flexibility of this container. It is sometimes called as blob storage, right? Blobs. S. It's not a singular word. It's not a singular word, right? S. Repeated. So blob or blobs. If it is storage, it is blob storage, or if it is only called as blob, it is not called as blob, it is called as blobs. So it can take any kind of data. So here, once you create a container, if you click on that container, see here, it will give you an option. Block, blob. Whichever data you dump to it, it is called as blob to this container or inside this container. Right? So if I want to upload the same data again, it will throw an error. Throw means either you want to override it. Right? If I scroll down and if I select that same electronic store, let me open this. See, the following file already exists. Whether you want to overwrite it. If yes, it will overwrite. If not, it will not give you an option to upload. So, I mean, this is all managed by Microsoft. This is all managed by the specific service only, right? So, storage account is all flexible. Now I've loaded some data. Let me go back. I see if that resource has completely moved. Yes, moving resources complete. That means our ADF has moved from one RG to different RG. Right. So we have seen what is storage account. We have seen how do you create it and what all storage types are there. What is access tier? Along with that, what is hard delete and soft delete? That mechanism, that backup mechanism, we try to go through it. So let me go back. Let me go back to the home tab. What I want to do is I want to use this ADF now. See, this ADF is not available. Why? Because we have moved it, right? So let me go back. Let's see. I mean, I cannot see that ADF, right? So I'll follow that subscription. Resource group. And to this resource, we have moved, right? This is our ADF. Now you can open that. Now, yesterday we have seen, right? How do you open this ADF? Let me click on Launch Studio. It will launch that studio. Now, the reason why I've created storage account is I want to move that electronic store file from one location to different location. That is our primary aim today, to understand. And let's get started creating a new pipeline, a first pipeline, how a data set is created, how everything's, other storage services are created. Let's try to understand one after the other. Right, so I will go to this author tab. We have seen yesterday, I've clearly mentioned that author tab is where the development happens. So inside this ADF, there are already some 18 pipelines, different data sets which are available. I'll not use that. Let me click on new pipeline. Let me start creating a new pipeline. The one who are creating ADF for the very first time, you will never get all these options, right? I already had this ADF previously. That's the reason I'm getting all this. So let me create a new pipeline. This new pipeline will cover copy usage activity or maybe copy usage. I'll go with this. There shouldn't be any white space because it will throw an error. I've renamed it. I'll minimize this properties tab. Now we have seen, right? We have seen that inside this, once you create a pipeline, you will get this activities tab. Our primary aim is whatever data is available here inside this storage account, that container, inside this container, this test container, we have a electronic store file. I want to move this file from this container to a different container. Now, what is different container? If I go back, there is one more resource group. Under this resource group, there is already a storage account which is available. Right? There's already a storage account. And if I go to containers, there are already containers which are available. So I want to move from that container to this container. That specific electronic store file, I want to move from that specific container to this container. Here, I want to move it. So let me go back. And what is our primary aim? To copy data and store it some other place. So I will use an activity called as copy activity. I've dragged it here. So once you drag an activity, a default, if it's only one activity, also it is called as a pipeline. Right? So once you drag this activity, I'll minimize this activities tab as well. So in activity, you will get multiple options below. So you can mention, right? I want to copy data. You can rename this activity also. Copy electronic store. This is our primary aim for this specific activity. So you will get some other options. Description is optional if you want to give description, right? Move electronic store file from where you want to move. From where you want to move. I want to move from this specific storage account. That means this is our storage account. To which storage account? Let me again go back to this storage account. Both services are in different resource group, but everything is under one subscription. That's still fine, right? To this, right? So I've mentioned a description. This is optional. You mention, you did not mention, that is no problem, and it's no problem. It will not throw an error. Now, what is activity state? Default, it is activated. This is one of the new update. New in the sense this update is available since last 1 year, but not prior to that. What is this option? This option is if you drag and drop any activity to this development or this white space, not every time an activity can be used, right? If you click on deactivate, see this activity is deactivated. That means even if you run this pipeline, it will not run this logic because this is deactivated. Let me click with activate default option. You can see if it is activated, it comes to its original color. If I click on deactivate, it would be grayed out. So I'll go with activate. For every activity, activity means some logic. So for every logic, it has some timestamp. Timestamp means what is the exact time it should run. If the data is very high, it will continuously run for 12 hours. This is seconds, this is minutes, this is hours, and this is number of days. An important interview question. What is the maximum time you can give for any activity? Is 7 days. If you hover on this, see here, maximum time allowed for any activity is 7 days. And default is 12 hours. The minimum time is 10 minutes. So if you default is 12, if I want to set it for 9 days, see, it will not go beyond 7. It has to be within 7. Even if I mention 7, it will throw error because 7 days, 12 hours. It should be 700. No error. What is this timeout? If an copy data is taking much amount of time, it will still run for 7 days. That is how powerful the ADF is. It can run an activity for continuously 7 days also. So I don't want this activity to run for 7 days, right? It's not required. I want this activity to run for 5 minutes, but 5 minutes is also not available. Default is 10. Even if it runs in 1 minute, but it should maximum time it can or minimum time it can take is 10. It is default condition. If sometimes activity runs in few seconds also, that is not a problem. But you should go with minimum 10 and maximum timeout is 7 days. Interview question. This is common for all the activities, not only copy, any activity related to ADF, any activity I'm talking about. Now, what is retry? I mean, I'll not go with this retry now. I'll go to source. So what I want is I want to connect to a storage account where our file is kept. What is that file? Let me go to resource group, this specific storage account, and I will start creating a data set. We have seen what is data set yesterday, right? For source, will one data set, for destination, one data set. And if you want to connect that data set, what is the ideal data set is like data set means it will take that data from that source and it will convert it to ADF format, right? So not every time the data will be available as per ADF format. It can be any kind of data. So this data set will convert it to ADF format. And how do you connect that source data set? Using a linked service. What is linked service? It's your key. We have seen an example yesterday, right? From one cupboard to different cupboard, if you want to move some files, a person is manually taking some files and he is moving it. So how do you open the cupboards using keys? Keys is your linked service. Source cupboard and destination cupboard is your source and destination data sets. So let me start creating a data set now. And what is our data? Our data is a storage account. So let me mention storage. See, if I'm mentioning storage, it will give you all the options: file storage, table storage, Gen 2, blob storage. If you select this and this, both are same. You can see icons are same. Let me go with blob storage. You can select Gen 2 also. There is no difference. Gen 2 is nothing but what is blob storage? Blob storage itself is a part of ADLS, right? It is itself a part of ADLS. ADLS Gen 2. Nowadays it is called as Generation 2. It is not Generation 1. Generation 2. Some new updates. Right, so storage account is called as ADLS or ADLS Gen 2. Let me go back. I'll select the blob storage. Let me click on continue. Now, what is our file? I need to check, right? What kind of file is it? Let me go to the container. Is it an Excel file? Is it a text file? It's a CSV file. That means it's a delimited text. CSV. What kind of file format? Every file format has a different different options available. I'm selecting a data set, right? Let me click on continue. So I can give a name to this data set. This is source. And where is it connecting? This source is connecting where? This is connecting to June Fabric storage account. This is our data set. Now, how do you connect a data set? How do you open that cupboard, right? Source cupboard using a key, right? For every cupboard, there will be a key, security. So for this also, you will need to create a linked service. So let me start creating a new linked service. The reason why am I getting already few linked services is because this is an existing EDF which I'm using. So I can give a different name to this linked service. What is the name? June Storage, June Fabric Storage LS. LS is your linked service. Now I'll scroll down. How do you connect to this storage account? How do you connect to this test container? How do you connect to the storage account? There will be some access, right? What is that access? Here, if you go to the security networking, there is this option called as access keys. What is an access key? If some person want to access data from storage account from a different service, right? We are accessing data from ADF, which is present inside the storage account. ADF is a different service. Storage account is a different service. So how do you connect this container? Using access keys. For every service, there will be an access key. ADF is not, you cannot access ADF. ADF itself will access some resource. So ADF is accessing the storage account. So you need to use this access key. Every storage account will contain this access key. So for every storage account, there will be two keys. What are the two keys? If if some person is getting confused with the one key, you can use another key. So let me click on show. It will give you option. This is how big the key is. Let me copy this key. Let me go to the storage account. And here you will get an option. See, you need not mention that key also. You need to only select subscription. And under this subscription, what is the storage account? This is storage account. Automatically, it will load that key. If not, you can go to this enter manual option here. Here you can mention what is the name of that storage account and what is the account key. So I can mention, right? I can mention this account key and what is the name of that storage account. This is the name of that storage account. The name of storage account, I'll mention it here. Right? So whenever you mention anything, you can test whether it is really working, right? Whether that key is correct or not. So you can test it. Connection successful, that means it is working fine. So let me click on create. It is just connecting that storage account, and under that storage account, you need to select which container you want to select. You have this option, browse. I am browsing this test container, and from this test container, I want to select this electronic store. I've selected it. Let me click on OK. So it will create that data set and linked services for a source. Created, right? You can see. And it has selected that file. If you click on this, this is dataset. If you click on this, it will open a dataset. And for every dataset, there will be a linked service. This is our linked service. So linked service, you can test whether it is really connected. That key is whether it's really connecting. And from that linked service, there is a container called as test container. It's a CSV file. We have selected this file. This is our source. Let me go to the pipeline again. See, for dataset, you will get a different icon. For pipeline, you will get a different icon. So need not get confused. So let me go to sync. Inside the sync, I need to select where you want to dump that file. Let me create a sync dataset. Now, what is our sync? Sync means our target. Our target is a different storage account. You can dump it to some SQL also, but we have just started with storage account. Let's see that storage account. So I'm dumping this to practice KSR storage. This is a different storage account under different resource group also, not even in the same resource group. So I want to dump that data. Let me add a container, new container. New data container. I'll dump this here. If the name is available, let me create it. Right, the container will be created. New data container. So I want to dump it to storage account only again, our target. So I've selected that blob storage again for this sync dataset. Let me click on continue. What is our sync? I want that same file to be a CSV file. I don't want to change any file format. Because I'm copying that CSV file, it should dump that CSV file only. Continue. I can give it a name for dataset, right? This is destination practice storage dataset. Now, let me create a new linked service, right? Because this is a new key for a different dataset. So this is practice storage destination linked service. I can give any name. Now here, if I scroll down, you have option called as subscription. If you select subscription, if you select that storage account, automatically that key will come. But I want to go with a manual option. I want to check the access key for this also. So let me scroll down, access key. For this, there will be a different access key. And you see, this storage account I've created almost 148 days back. 4 months back, I've created this. 4 or 5 months. Right, so let's see, right? I'll use that. I'll go with this key. See, don't copy this connection string. Copy the key. Connection string is different. It is also similar to key, but it is different. So let me copy this. Go back. I will mention that account key here, and I'll mention the storage account name. This is the name of the storage account. The destination storage account. Right? So let me test whether it is really working, that key. Right? It is working. So let me create this. Here also, it will give you an option. Which container you want to dump that. I want to dump it into new container. See, it will not select anything because this container is blank. I am selecting from source. Here it should dump. So you need not select only container. If you select that, should be fine. Let's see. Why is it taking so much time? Done. Let me click on OK. It should dump, right? Whatever, it will copy that same file name also because this is our target. Let me click on OK. Right. So for a copy data, you will get general tab, source tab. Source we have already selected. Sync tab. Sync we have already selected. And there is this third tab called as mapping. What is mapping? Let's explore this. But prior to that, let's see what is the settings tab. Settings tab is nothing but you can, if you want to capture logs of this pipeline, right? What is this pipeline about? How and at what time this pipeline is getting run? You want to capture all the details, you should enable logging. We had that log, right? So in the storage account also, we had that log option. If I go to the container, this log option is there. This is with respect to storage account. But for ADF also, if you want to capture logs, whether what kind of activity you are running, at what time you're running that pipeline or activity, it will capture everything in the logs. But I don't want. This is our optional condition, right? There is user property. User property is a different operation. I mean, a different functionality we will discuss afterwards. But there is this mapping option. What is mapping? If you're copying data from one source to different source, it should be as it is, right? So if you want to map, you can map. What is map? Let's suppose I have a table like this. Let me first remove this. Let's suppose I have a file or a sheet or a CSV file in one storage account. This is source, and I want to connect it to, I want to dump this file to destination. So this CSV file has some data like column 1, column 2, column 3. I want to dump same data as it is. But what I want to do is I don't want this column. So in copy data, you can copy this file, but while mapping, you can only map two columns. I don't want the third column. You cannot, if you don't map this, it will not work. It will only capture two columns because you have only mapped two columns. You can map it here. First thing is you need to import. Once you import, it will import all the columns from the source and all the columns from the destination. So whichever column you want to map, you can map, and whichever column you don't want, you can delete it. But for now, I want to copy everything, right? Means I want to copy the file, which is an electronic store, as it is from source to destination. So I'll not use any mapping. Usually this mapping is used where you want to eliminate some columns. Right? I don't want to eliminate anything. I'll want to capture. So everything I've mentioned, you are getting this publish option, right? Let me click on publish. See, once you click on publish, if everything is correct, you will see this green colors, right? I've created two data sets. I've created one pipeline. Along with every data set, there is a link service. So link service will not separately mention, because if you're creating a data set, it has to have a link service. It has to connect via link service only. So let me publish. Publish means you want to save it. There is no option called as save. It is just a publish. Right? Publishing is done. First thing is, whenever you want to publish any pipeline, do not publish it first. Test that pipeline, whether it is really working or not. So what I'll do, I'll go to this new data container because this is empty now. So what I've done, I've copied an electronic store file from this Fabric storage account, this source June Fabric storage, to a practice storage. So let me see if that file is really getting copied. How do you run a pipeline? This option, debug. And whenever you're running a pipeline, you can see which activities it is running, whether it is succeeded or failed. So it is in progress as of now. You can refresh it. This will be auto-refreshed for 5 minutes for every 20 seconds after. If at all this activity is taking more than 5 minutes, you have to manually refresh this option. Succeeded. That means this pipeline is succeeded, this activity is succeeded. Let me go to this storage. This is our destination. There is nothing present, right? If I refresh this, that file is coming. That means whatever you have copied from a different storage account, it has copied and it has dumped to this particular container. Right? This was our first pipeline. Now, for creating all this, we have learned so much, right? What we have created storage account, what is container, how to dump a file, what is ADF, how do you create a pipeline, what do you mention in the source, destination. Yes, but end of the day, result is what we were expecting. I mean, this mechanism is not available in Power BI, right? You want to move from one file to different, and Power BI is just an ETL tool. You extract the data and you perform the transformation there itself. ADF, right? Something different. Any questions until now?
Sir, if I want to start practicing, when can I start this?
I'll let you know, right? I'll show you how to create this free trial. But if you have a credit card, I mean, it's not only yours, you need to get a credit card. If at all it's your family member or a friend, I'll let you know. I mean, if you have activated Fabric, how do you create the same component in Fabric? Why not, right? You can create it.
Here it is.
Go ahead.
You have uploaded a file from in storage account container. You have uploaded an electric store file. If you want to upload any tables from database, it is possible.
No, database is not possible. You can dump. It will take it as a CSV or a text. Database, you have to create a database as a source.
Means it is not possible, or it is possible to create. Means only uploading files from only
Don't get
location.
confused. I have copied from one storage account to different storage account. If you go to this source, if you want to create a new data set, let me create a new data set. Data set is what? Whether it's a source or a destination. I have selected storage account. If you want to copy anything from SQL, you can select SQL right here. Your source can be SQL also. Our source and destination are only storage account. Both are same. I could have selected from SQL. I'll let you know. I mean, I'll create one pipeline where I'll be copying data from SQL to storage account or storage account to SQL, vice versa. Don't get confused with the what is source and destination. Source and destination are same for us. It's just a storage account. Our primary aim was to check whether the file is getting really copied or not. That activity is really working or not. If you want something to copy from SQL, right? Why you want to download that table, dump it to storage account? You are wasting two resources.
Got it.
Now, can I create the same in Fabric? Why not? Right? I'm in the workspace, the new workspace, Fabric trial workspace. I'll go to this new item. I will use a new pipeline, data pipeline. Let me mention copy data process. I can give it any name, right? Let me click on create. So it will create that pipeline. The UI of Fabric is different. Yes, I've told you, right? It's slightly different. It is not as same as which you get. So here you want to start with a pipeline, right? Let me click on pipeline. Now, what is the activity you want to start? I want to start with copy, right? If you go to this activity, if you go to this view tab, nothing is changed. So the only thing is you have to click on this activity and I want to start with copy. I'm doing it in the Fabric. We are not in the Azure. We are not in the cloud portal. I'm doing it in the Fabric. So same way, you will get everything as same as that. The only difference is the names can be different. Here it is source and destination, but if you go here, it is source and sink. Destination, target, sink, everything is same. Right? So you give it a name. I'll copy as it is. Right? I can copy this way. Mention it. Scroll back. I'll copy this. Mention this. Now, timeout, right? Default, it is 12 here again. I'll go with this 10 option, right? I don't want that 12. Go to source. Now, you have to think logically what I'm trying to say now. Whatever services which I've used, like your storage account, your ADF, everything is part of cloud. It is nowhere present outside of a cloud or different environment. Whereas, if you are going to the Fabric, the pipeline, this data pipeline, this data factory pipeline inside a Fabric, but you are trying to connect source which is in cloud. It is not in Fabric. The source which we are trying to connect is now present in the cloud. That storage account, right? Storage account is not in Fabric. It is present in cloud. So how do you create that storage account in Fabric? How do you create that storage account in Fabric? For now, I'll go to the workspace again, or maybe our workspace again. This copy data pipeline will stay. It will not go anywhere. Right? So let me click on new item. I'll not be using any container or a storage account from the cloud. I'll create that same storage account inside a Fabric. Now, what is that storage account? That storage account is called as a lakehouse, right? ADLS, Azure Data Lake. Lakehouse. Let me click on Lakehouse. I'll create one lakehouse. Source lakehouse. Maybe I want to create two different lakehouses, right? Source lakehouse. I'll upload a file. Say you can browse it. That same file I'll browse, electronic store. Open this, upload it. File is uploaded. Cancel this. Right, this is our file. And this is our source, right? This is our source lakehouse. See, for every component which you create, there will be some semantic model created. I want to create one more lakehouse, which is one more storage account. Let me go back to the new item. Same. I'll create one more lakehouse, which is one more storage account. Destination lakehouse. Let me click on create. See, I'm not using, I can connect from Fabric to cloud. Yes, you can cross connect also. But what I want is I want to create everything in Fabric only. So let me see, there is no as such. The thing here is, I mean, this is our destination. I don't want to upload any data. I want to copy from source to destination. Now, if I see here, can I create any folder? Yeah, you can create a new subfolder, right? You can create a new subfolder. This is our destination new folder. So I want to copy this inside this destination new folder here. So what I'll do, I'll again go back to this copy data. I'll go to the source. I want to create our source. What is our source? This is our source. It will list down what is available inside that workspace. So inside this, what you want to select? What you want to select, it will load all the tables. It will take some time. There's no table, right? Ours is a file. Go to this file. This is not a table. We are using a blob storage. We are not using any table storage inside that lakehouse. So let me browse it. Electronic store. Right? And it's a CSV file, it seems. Right? Not a binary file. Binary means a text file or something like that. It's a CSV file, delimited text. I'll go to destination. What should be our destination? Destination should be this. And it should dump to that same kind of file only, right? What is the root folder? I need to select, right? Let it load. I want to dump it to this folder. In a destination, lakehouse. Lakehouse is nothing but ADLS, right? And ours is a delimited text. It's a CSV file. I mean, I don't require any mapping. Nothing is required in the settings. Scroll down. I want to run this. Now, how do I run this, right? How do I run? If you go to this run tab only, then you will get an option called as run. There is no debug here. If you click on validate, whether it is everything is clearly mentioned or not, it will validate. But I'll run it. It is saving and it will run. Same, right? Everything is same. Succeeded. That means if I go to this destination where there was no file present inside this destination folder, you can see that file has been uploaded at 9:17 a.m. From one lakehouse to a different lakehouse. Lakehouse is your ADLS, is your storage account. In ADLS, you're not getting options like table storage, queue storage, file share, container. Everything is under one container. I mean, you are getting a table option. Table is there. If you want any tables to be that structure, right? Row column structure. But altogether is files, the second option, which is our container, which is common, right? Has anyone felt that this is difficult to learn in Fabric? But if I would have started with Fabric, yes, definitely you would have missed all these options, right? Because in storage account, you will get access here, you will get soft delete. All these options are available in cloud, which is not available in Fabric. Fabric is very small. It is not that vast as of cloud. Any difficulty while understanding both the pipelines? Everything which we have created is same.
So from Fabric, we connect the source from Azure Cloud, right?
See, you can connect from Fabric. I have used all the services which are part of Fabric only. If I want to connect a cloud also, I can connect. There is no as such compulsion that you should use. If I click on more options, I want to connect storage account which is present inside a cloud, which is out of Fabric, right? I can connect that. How do I connect? You can mention here, storage, Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Let me click on this. So you need to give a URL of that storage account. How and where that URL you can get? This is our storage account, let's suppose. Our source storage account. Because you're cross connecting, right? From Fabric, you're trying to connect a cloud. So where do you get the URL? You need to scroll down. Let me see if I can get URL here, anywhere here. Security, I'm going to the networking, enabled access from all the networks. If you go to this endpoint, scroll down, you will get a URL here. This is your URL. Static website. This is your URL. Either you go with this or this, one and the same. So you can verify what is the correct one. DFS score, right? Something DFS. So wherever DFS is present, this one it seems, data lake storage. So let me copy this. It should be in the endpoint option. We are cross-connecting our Fabric with cloud. So it's a new connection, right? Gateway. You need to select a gateway. Without gateway, it will not connect. Now, what is gateway? Gateway is while refreshing your Power BI datasets also, you need to download a gateway. Only then it will work. So if I connect also, it will throw an error. If I connect also, let's see. I might have selected none, but let's see if it is working. Privacy level is none. So I'm trying to connect. This connection can be used with on-premise gateways or VNet gateways. Let's see if I'm trying to connect, whether it will really connect. Because without gateway, it will not connect. Gateway is nothing but a cross-connection mechanism. Or if you want to connect anything to the Power BI service or your Fabric, you need to have this gateway. If it is coming out of Fabric, because we are connecting out of Fabric, right? So you need to create a gateway. Now, how do you create a gateway? For the Power BI folks, I've already shown you, but if it is new for you, you need to go to this download option inside this app.powerbi.com or your Fabric environment, Fabric website, download this data gateway. Once you download it, you need to install a standard gateway. There are two options. One is standard gateway, one is personal gateway. Now I'll explain that in further sessions. But this is for cross connection. If you're creating everything in Fabric, no gateway is required. But there is an option, right? You can cross connect some services to Fabric. I've shown that option. Any other questions?
Hello.
Now, in the output tab, Give me a few seconds. In the output tab, you can see how much time it took to run this specific activity, 16 seconds. And whenever you hover on this activity, you will get options. What is input? This is your input. I mean, it's a JSON format, JSON file. What has been selected? What has been copied? What is your output? It has read one file, it has copied one. Right? And there is this option called as preview, details. Let me click on it. It will give you an option. It has read 3.328 MB. It has written 3.328 MB in the destination or a sink. Copied one file, dumped the one file. So everything can be mentioned or can be viewed here on this details tab. Now, on the day 2, we discussed in day 2 or yesterday, right? Yesterday only we started. Yesterday, we have discussed integration runtime, right? It's a component of ADF. You can see something is mentioned here. Integration runtime. See, even if you don't create any integration runtime, default, it will take some. And what is integration runtime? If you want to connect some files within the cloud or outside the cloud. The best comparison is gateway is your integration runtime. What you have in Power BI is, right, if you want to connect some cross connections, you need a gateway. In case of ADF, if you're connecting within the cloud also, it will require integration runtime. If you're connecting outside of the cloud also, it will require integration runtime. But if you're connecting within the cloud, it will take default integration runtime. This is default. You need not create anything. Whereas in case of Fabric, it will not show you any data gateway, but it will default take the data gateway if you're connecting anything within the Fabric premises, right? If you're connecting out of Fabric, it will ask you to download that gateway. Whereas if you're connecting anything outside of Azure also, or outside of this ADF, or outside of Azure rather, right? If it is outside of Azure, you are connecting from on-premise, you need to create one more gateway, which is Azure self-hosted, which is different gateway. So gateways and integration runtimes are similar. Names are different. What is integration runtime? What is gateway? In order to connect, which is outside of something, which is, I mean, if you're connecting within that premises, it will have the default gateway or default integration runtime. Even Fabric has a default gateway if you're connecting anything within the Fabric. It will not ask you. It will either show you. Whereas in case of ADF, it is showing once you are running that pipeline. Even if I've run this pipeline, if I go to the output, see, there is no integration runtime or there is no gateway here. Whereas in ADF, it is showing. That's the only difference. Some views are different, but everything is same in Fabric or in standalone cloud service. Now, how do you activate this portal? Has anyone have credit card handy with you? Who can activate this?
Hello.
Yes or no?
Hello.
Yeah, Nilesh.
Sir, I have arranged the credit card, but has no limit. Is it possible to activate the?
You have a credit card, but what?
Has no limits.
Limit means it is totally exhausted?
Yeah, but it is activated.
No. The question is, you have no limit means it will only debit 2 rupees and it will credit back to you. It is only for verification.
Okay. I have to confirm with the bank.
Yeah. So that's the reason, right? If you have a credit card handy with you, I could have easily showed it. It is very easy. But prior to that, let me highlight few things, right? Today is day 4 free session. Tomorrow will be the last free session. One who are good with what we are explaining, what we are going through, except the people who already joined. One who's new to this Fabric, right? One who wants to learn Fabric or ADF or more kind of Azure and Fabric. For them, this is 4th free session. If you are good with what we are going through, if you are able to understand it, try to log into the KSR account. right? You can click on sign in. It will open the sign in option. Click on sign in. Once you log in, right, you should create an account. From day after tomorrow, it will be paid sessions, right? So you need to go to the explore courses, go to this paid session. Inside this paid session, you will get an option, the last one, 10,000. Now, justification is we are giving a license of premium per user as well as fabric trial capacity. So premium per user will cost us somewhere around 1600 to 2000 Indian rupees. So we are only charging 8,000. The other 2,000 is for license. So that's the reason it is 10,000. We will be covering all which is required, all the services which are primarily required for the data analyst or a Power BI developer. Mostly all dependent services along with importance of ADF. And with ADF, there are other dependent services. We have only started with storage account. There is a SQL server, there is a key vault, there is a service principal. There are many other dependent services. So we'll be going through all that services. And at the end, we will be seeing some insights related to bit of Databricks and Synapse as well. Synapse, or we have an option called as Power Automate or Logic Apps. Both are same. Right? So click on this. Once you click on this, you can click on Buy Now. Once you click on Buy Now, here you will get an option called as Pay. If you are getting confused here, right, something is not going as expected, you can reach out to our team. If you click on Contact Us, it will list down the contact numbers. You can contact on these two numbers, or you can email us that I want to enroll for this. Someone from our team will definitely call. Right, so this is the process. Today is day 4. Tomorrow will be day 5, the last free session. Again, this course is developed for people who already know SQL and Power BI, not both, right? People, some might have joined with Power BI, so we will be completing SQL, but I want people who would be joining for this course who already have a good exposure in Power BI. For them, only this is developed. Now, questions.
Hi Ritesh, I have a credit card, but before once upon a time I have used that credit card to create this account actually
Where?
in Azure account.
Earlier?
Yeah, earlier.
With a different email ID?
Yeah, different email ID, but we
Are
can
you
use
sure? Are
yeah.
you sure with a different email ID or with the KSR email ID?
No, different email ID when I have joined it.
Let's try. Let's try. Now, if you have that credit card handy with you, if you have some time, let's try that option.
Can I share my screen?
Let me stop sharing. So I'll only take 5 minutes, not more than that, because it will give you an option. How do you create this account? That free trial account of first 30 days. Portal.azure.com. In the URL also, you can directly search. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, it's correct. Get started with Azure. Yeah, the correct one. Yes, try Azure if you're free. Log in with the KSR.
Second. You should have to give same email ID.
You use that same KSR email.
The mail ID should be the Microsoft one, or any Gmail also it will work.
No, Gmail, it will not work. It has to be a domain email.
Sorry?
Domain email.
Domain ID. Okay.
Yeah.
We can give any number, no? Random number.
Use your own phone number. The number which you haven't mentioned previously. Use some unique number. Maybe you can use your friends or family members' number. If you haven't mentioned your number anytime earlier, you can go with that number also.
Random.
Meanwhile, I have just one question. Hello? Hello, am I audible?
Hey, you are audible.
I
just
have one question. Like, see, I am completely new to Power BI and SQL. Okay, so like, will it be good for me to opt for this course, or do you have any other thing, or should I talk to you?
You need to start with SQL and Power BI. Then only you need to jump to this course. Shakil, can you go above? Go above. Don't. Yeah, go above. Go above. Okay, go above. Okay, yeah, that's fine. India. Okay, scroll down. Company name. See,
Random.
mention KSR. KSR Consultant Services or KSR Datavizon, whatever. ZON. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Scroll down. That's fine. You need to validate this. It seems you validated, right? I would like to share my information with Select. Okay, you can select these options if you want. I guess this is not required. This is optional. Yeah, click on next. I am not getting that next option. Scroll down. I guess you need to solve this puzzle. Everything is correct. Make sure it is that same way. Match the direction, right? You need to move the other one, the right one. Move it. Move. One more time. Yeah, that's fine. Submit. Done. Scroll down. Next. Postal code. Mention some random postal. Yeah. Scroll down. For the one who wants to, who is very new to this Power BI and SQL, see, I'd not recommend you to directly jump because this is developed for people who already know Power BI or SQL. So if you want to learn Power BI and SQL, there will be a new batch starting after 1 month. You can join that batch. This is for morning. If you want to go with evening, there is already a batch which is started, it seems. So you can opt for that batch as well. Evening times are different. Morning time is 8 to 9:30.
Okay, and will we be getting that recordings and all?
Yeah. So if you're attending live sessions, that is live. Along with that, you will be getting all the recordings, right? So what we have covered until now, today's fourth session for this fabric, you have everything available on our portal, right? If you log into our portal, if you create an account, you will get all the recordings also.
Okay. Okay, I'll connect with your team separately offline. Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Once I'm stopping my screen share, I will fill my details.
Okay. And one thing, whenever you're using this credit card or this portal, make sure you activate international usage, online usage for international, and you can keep a limit of 500 for it. 500 or 100. I don't think 100 will be fit, 500 you can fit. Only then this will work. Click on confirm. Now it will only debit 2 rupees. It will credit it back after verification. This is just for verification. Click on sign up. Click on next. And your account is activated. Text. Can you also charge your laptop? I guess it will shut down. So it's very easy process, right? If you have seen, if you open that portal, start with that free trial, it will give you that list. You need to mention your name, some random address details you can mention, postal code, and then it will verify your card. You need to mention your card options, card credentials, or your card number, your CVV, and then it will give you an OTP. Make sure international usage is on. You can keep a limit of 100 or 500. It will only debit 2 rupees. Once that is done, the account will be activated. Right? So it will take some time. It will redirect you. So sometimes it will take 1 hour, sometimes it will take 1 day to activate your portal. So you need not worry on that.
Okay.
Right? Get started. Skip. Done. Can you go to the home tab? Home tab. Your account is activated as of now.
Yeah.
Now, how do you check whether it is really activated? Go to subscriptions. This is your subscription. Now, can you click on that subscription? You started on 24th of June. So make sure you delete it by 23rd of July. Right? Now you want to rename that subscription, right? I want to give it any name. You can rename. You have that rename option above. Rename, cancel, rename. Yeah, you can give it your own name. If you want, you can give any name.
Okay.
How to activate? I've shown you, or maybe Shakil has shared his screen. You can follow that same process. If you have ever activated this Azure portal previously with some email ID, do not use that email ID. Use the KSR email IDs. You have used some different phone number. I mean, you have used some phone number while activating previously. Use a different phone number. Have you renamed it? Okay.
No need.
Okay. You can rename it if you want, and you can click on that subscription name. Click on that. Right. So you can go to settings. Here. Yeah. You have resource group.
Yeah.
You can create your own resource group and you can start working on your services. Right?
Before on 23rd, it will deactivate. No, 23rd or 20.
It will not deactivate. The thing is, you have to delete all the services or resource. Subscription will not charge you single rupees if you're not activating any service.
Okay. We
I've
need
shown
to
you a proof.
means we need to delete all the resources all which have created.
And whatever I'm trying to teach, only go through that. Don't explore some other options and create some random services. By default, if you create a Fabric paid service here, it will charge you from that particular day itself. So there is no option to get back that money. You have to pay. So please don't try to use it. It is not that dangerous. You can raise a ticket also, but that's a different process. So whatever we are discussing, only explore that ADF, right? If you explore ADF in depth, also it will not charge you more than 500 rupees. You will get 200 US dollar credits, which is somewhere around 13 to 16K Indian rupees. More than enough. Yep. I guess we are good. You can stop sharing. So, right,
Just,
how to
just we
activate
need
portal?
to,
It's very easy.
just
The
we
only
need
thing is,
to,
go ahead, go ahead.
just we need to delete all the resources of when we are about to complete our free trial.
Yes, you can
That,
delete. Maybe you can delete a 1 day prior also, right? Today is 24th, 23rd is last. You can delete it by 22nd also. If you delete resources, even if your subscription is active, it will not charge you a single penny. But if you want a surety that I've deleted everything, delete your subscription itself.
okay.
So everything under subscription will be deleted. And if you're very eager to learn this after 1 month also, again, I'm trying to say it will not charge you even 1,000 or 1,500 rupees, because ADF, what we are going to practice, is even less than that. ADF is not a costly service. Okay, some dependent services are costly. Like SQL, it will default charge you 400 per month, which is still manageable.
So we can set a limit. We can use like
There is an
only
option. There is an
1,000
option.
rupees
An
only, like
alert
that.
option, not a limit, alert option. If you
We
cross
have
that
that.
limit, it will send an alert. But again, I'm trying to say, right, if whatever we are practicing, if you practice that, there is no alert required. Again, by chance, I mean, if you set alert, also it will go back that alert. Alert is just, it will alert. It will not stop anything from you creating, because that's how the cloud is developed. So please do not touch Fabric from Azure portal. You activate Fabric with your KSR credentials with powerbi.com. That is different. If you're activating it from the Azure portal, again, I'm reiterating, by chance, if you activate, it will charge you from the day one. So we can't do anything. Please do not touch that. Any other questions? Okay. If there are no questions, we will. Vaibhav, I got your question. Yesterday also you repeated that same question. Again, I'm trying to say there will be some mock interviews. You want it today and tomorrow itself, please wait for some time, right? We will do that.
Hello.
Nilesh, go ahead.
Hello. Sir, as I am converting my experience, I am not from the domain. So I have learned Power BI and SQL from some other institute. So do I opt for this course or go ahead with
Yeah.
this
See, if
Azure?
you're confident with your Power BI and SQL, there is no problem with that. This course is developed for that people only who already knows that.
Okay.
So if you want to learn and explore about cloud, which is more specific to data analytics role, yes, this course is developed for you.
So I do have a lot of questions regarding the real-time workflow and
You have
all of that.
questions with respect to ADF, or you have questions with respect to Power BI?
So both ADM still I am learning right now. So with both.
So we have started with ADF now only, right? If you have
Okay.
started with ADF now, how you can explore? Okay, whatever we discussed now, yes, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Okay. Okay, sir. Because last month I have created my Naukri profile, but I yesterday I have deactivated because I am going to learn this Azure. And after learning the Azure, I will I will update my resume and again created the new profile.
That's fine. That's fine, right? So yeah, I mean, along with this, we have some resume building. Our different team is there, so our team will help you for resume building. That option is also available. You will get some recordings for your project management. Some additional resources will be shared with you. So that's a different optional add-on. Okay, I mean, we are good with time, almost 15-20 minutes past. If you have still any other questions, feel free to write it down. You can ask me in tomorrow's session. Still, we have one more session to go with. Right. So how to enroll, I've shown you. If you still have any questions, reach out to our team, log into our website. You'll get the contacts there, email us. They'll definitely reach out to you. Right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Let's connect back tomorrow.